Okay, so this is the next video in our continuation of our AWS series. And in this video, we will start learning about the databases. So we will look out the RDS database. So RDS is the relational database service. So if you open the console, AWS console, and you search the RDS, so here you can see the relational database service, the RDS. So it is a kind of one of the service, right? So it is like a RDS is like a kind of a broader term. So like when we heard about the databases, so we generally heard about the Postgres, MySQL, T-SQL, right? Oracle. So from where this RDS comes. So RDS basically is not a database. It is a database service, right? It's not actually a database. It's a kind of a database service. And it is a managed relation database service. And what is the difference between the managed and unmanaged? So let's open this first. So if we click on the RDS and one console will be open. So yeah, so this console has been opened. So this is the RDS. The RDS database further provides. Okay, so first it is the managed database service. Managed database service means so there are two ways to create the database. So one is like you can spin up your EC2 instance. So sorry, like one is like in your local computer, you just download the database and you can install the database and you start working on it. The other is if you have to install the database on the cloud, the other option is you have to spin up the EC2 instance, and within that EC2 instance you install the required software which is required for the database and you start working on it. The third thing is like you no need to spin up the EC2 instance. You can just like come to the console and create the database, right? So and the difference between the and when you use the Amazon RDS as a service, it is called as a managed because you don't need to manage anything. Everything, the underlying like whether it is operating system patches and anything, it is being managed by the AWS. So that's why it's called the managed. But if you spin up the a database onto your EC2 instance, then you have to take care of everything because you have spin up the EC2 instance. Then whatever like uh, any upgrade or any patches upgrade, so you have to take care of it. Any backup, right? But in the managed, like there are a lot more options which we can do. Maybe we can like create a multiple replicas. We can like auto scale it. But in the EC2 instance, if you spin up, we can't even auto scale it. We can't even create the replicas. So that's the difference with the managed. So RDS is a service. It is not actually a database. It is a service which provides the facility to create the databases of multiple types. So it is a managed database. So it use the SQL query in the database and allows you to create a database in the cloud, and that are managed by the AWS. That's why it's called the managed database. So it provides a lot of options. So which option it provided? It provides the Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, and Aurora. So these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 database services it provided. So if you open the console, and this is the dashboard. If you go to the databases, right now we don't have any databases. So if you click on the create database, so one UI will be open, and here you could see like it provides a lot of options, basically 6 options: Amazon Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. So based upon your project requirement or based on our requirement, we can like choose any of the option. All right. Okay. So these are the basically advantage of RDS versus deploying. So as I told you, we can, there is no need to use this like managed database. We can spin up our EC2 instance, and on the top of the EC2 instance, we can install our our database. Like let's suppose I need the PostgreSQL database, so I can install on the EC2 itself. But there are lot of advantage if we use this managed RDS databases. The advantage is because once you create this database, a lot of inbuilt functionality it provided to us. So first is the patching of operating system will be done by the AWS, right? And the backup and the restore option will be provided, and restore option to specific timestamp. That is a point in time restore. It will provide the monitoring dashboard. So we don't need to monitor like install any separate software to monitor our database. Automatically it provided by the AWS. We can scale up the read replicas. So like even in the same region, even in the multiple regions, even in the different zones for the disaster recovery, we can even scale up and the scale down, like horizontal scale up and the horizontal scale down. So a lot of options. And at the back end, like when we are storing the data, somewhere it gets stored. So at the back end, it is the EBS volumes. So on the EBS volume, it will be stored. And EBS volumes are, as I told you, multiple types, GP2 and the IO. So they use the GP2 and the IO type. Okay. And we can create the 5 read replicas. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So basically, if you have to work on any application and using the RDS database, so your application structure is look like this. You will create a EC2 instance on which your application will be running. At the back end, you have the Amazon RDS. So your application will access the Amazon RDS database, and maybe your application is running on the multiple EC2 instances, all right, and on the multiple maybe availability zones or regions. And if it is the multiple, maybe you need the load balancer. And if you need the load balancer, the web request come to the load balancer, and load balancer will automatically route to the multiple EC2, and these EC2 will like automatically get the Amazon data from the RDS database. Okay, so this is a kind of a basic architecture. And like as I told you, we can create a replica. So let's suppose if I have to create the replica, let's suppose the Amazon RDS, and we created the replica. 1 second. So let's suppose we created the replica, like one more replica, and we have the one application. So does it mean our application will write to all the replicas? No. R- these could be only read replicas, and there could be maximum 5 read replicas, and our application will write only to the main database, right? Our application can read from the other like availability zones in case of disaster recovery or anything. Or maybe let's suppose this replica in London region, and this in the Ireland region. That is a multi region. So this has the write replica and this is the read replica. And my one web application running in the London, my same web application running in the Ireland. So Ireland application, if they have to read the database, rather than reading from the London, it will read from the Ireland, because it will the latency will be very low. The reading timestamp will be very low. But if it has to write it, then it will not write to the Ireland, it will write to the London one, because London one is our main database, right? So always write will be only one, but there could be many read replicas. So similarly, okay, so we can create up to 5 read replica in case of multiple region. So database can be replicated to the multiple region. All right, so that's it. And one more thing, here, one disadvantage of the RDS database is we cannot SSH into the RDS database. So there is no facility to SSH into the RDS database. So here you have seen one more option, Amazon Aurora. So this is very new to us, because like we have heard the MySQL, whether we work or not, that's a different story. But at least in our lifetime, we have at least heard of it. What is MySQL? What is PostgreSQL? What is SQL? What is Microsoft SQL and MariaDB? But we never heard the Amazon Aurora. So Amazon Aurora is like one of the database provided by the Amazon only, and we can't spin up on the EC2 instance, so we have to use as a managed database service only. So on the top of it, we can it is a basically proprietary technology. I'm not sure what is the proprietary, maybe it is not open source. Along with that, the PostgreSQL and MySQL both are supported by the Aurora DB. So generally, like it is mentioned, if we have to use the PostgreSQL, let's suppose, and if we use the PostgreSQL, let's suppose the performance. So performance is 100, let's suppose. Then if we use the PostgreSQL on the Amazon Aurora, then performance will be increased. Performance will be 300. If we use the MySQL directly, then performance could be 100. And if we have to use the MySQL on the Amazon Aurora, then performance could be 500. So it has high performance. Amazon Aurora has the high performance, but one of the disadvantage, it doesn't come under the free tier. Rest under come in the free tier. So before using it, we have to check whether as part of the free tier we can create the database or not. So AWS free tier slots. So click on the first link. Oh no, not this link. What is this? AWS free tier slot. So AWS free tier, and if you scroll down, and here if you search RDS, so you could see we get 750 hours per month of database engine, and we can use the MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB or SQL Server, but we can't use the Amazon Aurora. Along with that, at the backend we have to use the T2.micro, T2, T3.micro, or like a few more instances, but not all very large kind of instances. Plus, we can use the general purpose for the 20 GB, and for the backup, we can also use the 20 GB. If we have to use more than that, then it will be paid. As part of the free tier, it is like we can use the 20 GB. So yes, we can use it. So let's close it. Okay. So how to create it? So first we like come up to the console. So we will search the RDS. We will click on the RDS. We will go to the databases. Right now we don't have any database, so click on the create database. Now we have the like two option, one is the standard create and one the easy create. So standard create means like we can set our own configuration. You set all of the configuration, and it is the best practice. We will go with the standard one. Now the engine, which database we want to create by RDS service, either Amazon Aurora, MySQL. So let's create MySQL or any database, but don't use the Amazon Aurora because it is not come under the free tier. So you can like hands-on on any of these five, rest of the five. And now you use the MySQL, but which version of the MySQL you want to use? So you can choose the MySQL version. So always choose the latest version. Even by default, it will populate it with the latest version. Even if you use the PostgreSQL, it will populate it with the latest okay, it is probably 13, but we can use the 14. Maybe 13 is the stable, 14 is not the stable one. So we can use the MySQL, and we can start choose this version. Okay. Now we have to use the template. So like whether we are creating the databases used for the production or dev test or free tier. So this is nothing, like there is no difference, because just if we use any of this option, the below of the option will be changed. Let's suppose if we have the production, and here you could see by default for the production they told you have to use the large instance. So we have multiple options for the like instance type, large instance. So that is the CPU and the memory will be large. But if you go with the dev, the option will get changed. So it will recommend like some other options. But if we go with the free tier, so we have to use the free tier only. So as soon as we select the free tier, the below option has been changed. Now you don't see any large. Even rest of the option are disabled. So as part of the free tier, we can use the T2.micro, T3.micro, and T4G.micro. So these. So let's go with the T2.micro only. So basically, we have to select the free tier. Don't use, if you are using just the hands-on, don't select the production and the dev. Just go with the free tier. Okay. So till now, we go with the standard MySQL. Then we go with the version. Then we go with the free tier. The name of the database. So let's the name of the database one. The master database name, the master username. So admin, and the password, because we have to authenticate our database. So password, so it should be 8 characters. So here it is mentioned at least 8 principal ASCII characters. So give any 8 characters, the same 8 characters you have to give here. Okay. Now the instance class type. So basically when the database will be spin up at the back end, they will use some like CPUs. So we will use the db.t2.micro. So it is basically t2.micro class. Now the storage class. So at the back end, I told you it will use the EBS volumes only. So at the back end, it will use the EBS volume, and the EBS volume is what like GP2 and IO. So GP2, IO, and magnetic. So we cover these three volumes during our EC2 lecture. So here we will use the GP2. Allocated storage 20. So do you want to auto scale it? Yes. Auto scale up to till what? So 1 TB, that is 1000 GB. So that is fine. Then availability and durability leave as it is. Connectivity. So we want to create in the default VPC. So but when we actually work on any project like in a company, then we never use the default VPC. We have to create our own VPC, and then within the VPC, it's not nothing like, but just we create our own VPC, and that VPC will be selected here. So leave the default subgroup. Now, do you want to make the public this database as a public access or not? So if we will not make it as a public access, then any service which resides only in that VPC can access. But if we make it public, any service outside the VPC can also connect. So Amazon EC2 instance and devices outside the VPC can connect to your database. But if we select the no, then only EC2 instances or any other device which resides in that VPC can connect to your database. So, but we make it public. So we have to choose a security group. So security group basically, so let me show you. So we are telling you our EC2 will connect to the Amazon RDS database, right? So when we connect with the EC2, like in initial video, so when we spin up our EC2 and we spin up one website on top of the EC2, basically hello world program, hello world HTML page. So we have to browse that particular web page using the browser, and the browser will use the HTTP port, HTTP 80. So we have to access that. So we, as part of the security group, we give the access to the HTTP port and the port 80. So similarly for the Amazon RDS database, if we have to access it, we have to attach a security group on which port it will access. So we have to select the security group. So let's create a new security group. So give the security group name database1 as SG security group. Okay. So availability zone. So it could be on any availability zone. Additional configuration. So 3306. So 3306 is the port of our MySQL database. So if you go MySQL database port, you could see 3306. So 3306 automatically here. If it is not here, then you can type it 3306. Then how you authenticate your database using password authentication, that is fine. So these are some additional configuration. We will not go through this additional configuration, leave everything as is. So here you can see you can use the 754 hours, 20 GB and 20 GB for the backup. Just create the database. So the database start creating. So it will take a couple of seconds, and after that it get created. So let's wait for a few minutes maybe. So database has been created. Now you can say the status is not more created, but it is backing up. Why it is called as a backing up? When we create the database, so we have not touched the section of some additional configuration section. And under the additional configuration section, the automated backup is already check mark. So that's why it's trying to create a one backup as well. So automated backup, under the automated backup, it will create a copy of our backup as well for the current region. All right. So let's so if you click on it, the backup is still creating. So it is not fully even created. It's not available. But we can see the configuration. So it is the MySQL. It has spin up in the EUS 2A. All right. So because we selected the London region, but we have not selected the particular zone, so automatically it select the 2A. All right. And the db.22.micro. Okay, name is database one, and this is the endpoint. So automatically it gives us some Amazon RDS endpoint. Along with that, we could see the security groups. So the security group which we have created. So if you open the EC2, so you could see at the back end, it is spinning up the, so one security group has been created. So let me show you. So if you go to the security groups, so this is the created by the RDS. So if you click on it and see 3306 is the port. So this security group has been created at the back end. So the same security group has been shown to us. Okay, so yeah, so these are the VPC, security group, subnet, and everything else. But you could see we have the monitoring option. So because this is the managed database, and that's why we are able to see the monitoring options. But the CPU like utilization, DB connection, free storage is the 20 GB of storage, read IOPS, write IOPS, free memory. So these options will not available if you spin up our database manually in any EC2 instance, right? So we have to manually configure some monitoring tool. But if we use the RDS as a managed database, so that's the advantage. So we can get a multiple options, scaling up, scaling down, monitoring, logging options. So lot of the option we can easily get, right? Along with that, so right now it is backing up. But if you go to the actions, under the action, like this is right now disabled because it is still backing up. But you have the option to take snapshot, so you can take a snapshot as well. Right now you can't take the snapshot because it is backing up. Snapshot. So if you're trying to take a snapshot, it is a cannot create a snapshot because the database instance back one is not currently in the available state, because it is not in the available state because it is right now backing up. So once it will be available in the once when the status is available, we could see a couple of options. So let's wait a few couple of more minutes. Now you can see the status is available. So now we can perform multiple actions. If you go to the databases and you open your database which you have created and go to the actions, now you can stop the database, reboot, delete it, create read replica, create Aurora read replica, take a snapshot. So you can take a snapshot as well. So let's create a snapshot. So database one snapshot. So take a snapshot. So snapshot will be getting created. So it is now creating. So if you go to the RDS and if you go here, so you have we explored this database option. Now the snapshot will come under the snapshots option and the backup will come under the automated backups. So if you click on the snapshots, you could see a database one snapshot is there. All right, and right now it is in the creating state. So once it get created, if you click on it, again you can perform so many options. So you can copy the snapshot to another region, you can migrate the snapshot, you can restore the snapshot as well, you can delete the snapshot. So right now these options are disabled because status is creating, right? It is not in the available state. So let's wait for a couple of few more minutes. So while it is being created, now you could see the snapshot is also available. So this is our snapshot and snapshot status is available. So if you click on the snapshot and you go to the actions, now you could see restore snapshot, copy snapshot. So if you click on the copy snapshot, you can copy. Right now it is in the London region, so you can copy to the multiple region, even the US region, Ohio region, any other region. So we have the couple of options available. All right, so let's consider it because we don't want to copy it because your database is still empty. We have not created anything, just a simple database. There is no table inside it, nothing like that. All right, so yeah, we have explored it, and on the dashboard we can see how many databases. Right now it's one database is available and one subnet groups, right? And snapshot is one, and probably the backup is could be one. So not sure where is the backup. All right, so let's delete whatever we have created. So click on it and actions and delete it. They said before deleting, do you want to create a final snapshot? No, I don't want to create a snapshot. I acknowledge it, and we have to type here delete me. They have they said we have to type delete me. So let's delete it. So now it started getting deleting. So it will get deleted after within a couple of seconds, and we can delete the snapshot as well. So click on it and delete the snapshot as well. So delete it, and backup I think will automatically get deleted. So go to the database. So it is now getting deleted. So once it is like getting completely deleted, we will our like delete our security group as well. Because right now if we try to delete our security group, it will not getting deleted because it will say it is being used. So if you even try to delete it, so it is a like I am being used by some resources. All right, so it is being even being used by the security group database 1G, and that is the RDS database. Basically it is being used, so we cannot delete it right now. So once the database get deleted properly, then we can even delete our security group as well. So let's wait a couple of minutes. Now database has been deleted, so we can delete our security group as well as part of the cleanup. So delete it. So security group has been deleted. So that's it. So that's the end of the video, and thank you.